So you've done EMDR therapy.
I have.
Yeah. How did you get to that point? Because you had talked about like you've done therapy in the past.
Right.
And then what happened that you were like, I need something more?
So it's interesting because I was doing therapy, and shout out to Dan, my therapist.
Love you.
He actually is the one who brought it to me because we were working, and I wish all therapists were like this, right?
Mhm.
He was totally honest with me, and he said, we're stuck.
Yep.
You're not progressing.
Right.
I feel like there's something that needs to, we need to try something.
Yeah.
Right?
Flick.
I was stuck in neutral, right? And there was
That's a good way to put it. Stuck in neutral.
I was stuck in neutral, right?
Mhm.
Like I wanted to do the work,
Yep.
but something in me was blocked,
And
I was just spinning
take yourself out of it.
right, and I couldn't deal with it. Like I didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we spoke, and he said, I think you should try EMDR.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, EMDR?
What's that?
What the hell is that? And I was like, I don't know. And I was hesitant. And he goes, I know this great therapist. She's amazing. I said, why not? Let's try it.
Yeah.
So I hope it would work, right?
Mm-hmm. How did you know you were stuck? What symptoms, what was happening that you couldn't get through with?
I was having panic attacks.
Okay. Yeah.
I was having panic attacks, and and I didn't know what was going on. I never knew what a panic attack was.
Yeah.
And
really, you're Italian.
Yeah, but we used to get it out. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's something good about being the loud one.
Yeah, right?
You get it out. Yeah.
Just scream on top of your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Like my husband says all the time.
Or
but it's more of, I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was just like this constant panic. Like I thought I couldn't breathe. And I was prescribed Xanax,
mm-hmm.
right? And
which is helpful in a panic attack.
Which is great, right?
Absolutely. And we always say that's the point is not no medication.
Right.
It's notice medication for what it is. It's a way to help in the moment. It's a symptom that we're treating. It doesn't work on the root.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a tool to help you get to where you need to be and to be comfortable, and your body to be comfortable to be there, right?
Yeah. Regulates your nervous system so that you can get to the space to get to the root.
Exactly. And I know that being in therapy for so long,
mm-hmm.
I was like, this is just masking it. It's just helping me. It's not, I'm not going to the root of the problem, right? So then, we did EMDR, and I remember, people's perception of EMDR is what they see on television or they hear about it, right? And it's not always about the bar. Right. It's not about the bar sometimes, right? For me,
the light bar, that one.
This thing that goes back and forth.
Yep.
Yeah. And for me, this didn't really help.
Right.
Right? Because I'm such a visual person.
Yeah, you have to close your eyes.
I had to close my eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the buzzers helped
These
me.
These guys, la la la.
These little things are like a savior.
Yeah.
Because they buzz and you can explain what they do, because I don't really know what they do.
Well, they vibrate, and they administer bilateral stimulation, similar like how we do the eye movements left to right. They do that with tactile instead of visual.
Right.
So for someone like yourself who's a beautiful visualizer, this can give you the same effect as the light bar, but with your eyes closed so that you can enhance your strength of already visualizing.
And I think, and people think, oh, you do, on TV shows, they have the breakthrough, right? Like that moment. And then they're like, I'm done. I'm good.
Yep.
It's not like that.
Right. So what was it like for you?
It was a process.
Mm-hmm. It's layers.
It's layers, right? And you don't really realize where the brain takes you, like the journey, right?
And you don't know where the brain's going to take you. That's
right?
What's different with EMDR is you are willing to give up control and trust the process.
And you go to places that you never thought you would go.
Yeah.
Like, why am I going down this path?
Right.
But it's just like you're letting your brain try to it's funny. It's like, I think you told me trauma is not stored like a regular memory.
Yes.
It is like our normal memories are stored in the back of your brain.
Mm-hmm. It's like a filing cabinet, I'll say. The filing in the hippocampus, back of your brain.
Right.
And it's got a beginning, a middle, an end, nicely wrapped up bam.
Right.
And then when we want to go retrieve that memory, it's like you go into the filing cabinet,
right,
find it,
pull it out, right?
Yeah.
Trauma's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
And trauma is like somebody taking a bottle and smashing it around your head.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And the pieces go
exactly,
and they're everywhere.
exactly.
And it's like with the filing cabinet metaphor of, imagine like you have a file and it explodes and the
Right.
papers go everywhere and then nothing makes sense.
Exactly.
And you're trying to put the story together, but the pages aren't numbered. And
exactly. So
Yeah.
when I was doing EMDR, I realized my brain was going down pathways to find where the trauma landed
Mhm.
and what the triggers,
where
it started, right? And how to reprocess it
Right.
in a way that it didn't trigger me,
Right.
right? I didn't realize that a certain smell was triggering me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or a thought or a word,
Yep.
right? Even the environment that you're in can
Yep.
trigger you. And
Time of day, time of year.
right.
Yeah.
Like the temperature in your body.
Yep.
Like how you feel.
Yep.
You know?
It's all, we start to get triggered before we know it's even happening because our brain processes information from the bottom up.
Right.
Our conscious thoughts are here. If we start processing here, where we feel, we sense, our body's going to start responding, thinking that something's happening again before our brain has a chance to realize that it's not.
Yeah, and for me, it was like one of those moments where it was hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you really go, like you really have to go there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You really like, and that's what a good therapist is there for, like somebody who's like, specialized in this. And I do mean you really need to go to someone who's trained in EMDR.
Knows what they're doing.
And knows what they're doing, because you really go to places where you didn't even know that were causing you these things. And you need someone to be there for you, to help you come out of it and ground you.
Right.
Because when you come out of the first sessions of EMDR, you are like raw. Mm-hmm. Like everything is heightened. I was irritated.
You said like a live wire. I think I remember you.
No, like a live nerve.
Yes.
Like I felt like I was an exposed nerve.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like it was like, when you go to the dentist and you get like a cavity.
Yeah.
Like
and it hurts for days.
Mm-hmm. That's how it was. Like and you really need someone to guide you through it, right? And I remember you checking up on me and like doing my daily things. Is, are you doing this? Are you okay? Remember, I feel like I'm hungover. Like I drank like for days. Like
Yeah, that EMDR hangover is real.
It is.
Yeah,
it is
the
really.
Dreams I always hear are nuts.
Nuts, right? Like
your brain's trying to make sense of it.
Right.
That's what dreams are. We're trying to make sense of things.
And it was like a process, but I actually have to say, towards like the first few sessions were really, really hard. Like a point where you should just start, like your brain just starts like processing things better, and you start
making connections.
You start making connections with things. And I love this point where I remember this so clearly, that I came out of one of our sessions and we did the grounding and like everything, and you told me to open my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I can actually say it was the only time in my life that I felt centered. And it was like everything was centered.
Yeah.
Like there was no voice, everything was still, everything was silent. I felt like at peace, and I felt like everything was vibrant, and there was no like fogginess or anything.
Yeah.
It was like that moment of pure clarity. Wow. And it was powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's just like, I want other people to experience that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
once you see the benefit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like it lasts for like a 24 hours. It was great, but
because life still happens.
Exactly.
And there are things that are going to.
Exactly.
Our nervous system is constantly going to adapt to our environment. And there are times where feeling more anxious or on edge is appropriate. We need mobilization to be able to work through things.
Where's that point where you see a client like me, for example, when I was doing it, you see that rawness, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you see that progress, and like where I said, like, I started seeing the change.
Yeah.
Like,
So you typically,
mm-hmm.
if we're doing it consistently
Right.
and the preparation work was there, once we actually start processing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
2 to 4 sessions, you start seeing 2 to 4 sessions of active processing.
Right.
You start seeing things are a little different. You're noticing a shift.
Right.
You become a little more like curious, like, huh, that's new. I didn't realize that. Or
Yeah.
you start becoming more your observer mind outside of the office.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I also, and I think a lot of people are afraid of EMDR because
Mhm.
they feel like they're going to lose control.
That's why don't do EMDR therapy at home by yourself, like those programs, like virtual EMDR. Don't, because of that point.
Yeah.
Because you might lose control. That's why you need a regulated presence to help bring it back.
Yeah. You need to be like, you need somebody there.
Right. And there are things you have to not be in control to do EMDR effectively.
Yeah, because you're actually relinquishing.
Absolutely. You're letting your nervous system do what it needs to
and
do.
it takes you, like, honestly, it takes you to some places that are emotional, right? And you cry, and you feel sick, like you want to throw up, like afterwards, and stuff like that. There are like true physical, like, things that happen to you while you're doing EMDR, right? And I think,
because sometimes your body actually, I think of it as like a completion process, because if like throwing up, for example, is actually your body's way of protecting you. Because if something happens, like let's say if we're allergic to something, we throw it up. That's your body's way of saying, get it out. It's not good for us.
Right.
We also throw up during moments of stress because of our vagus nerve and how it reacts to things. But once we like throw up, it's like the nervous system is to discharge that energy. So if that healing process gets thwarted, we need to finish it. And it doesn't always mean we have to puke in session if we didn't get to puke when we were nauseous, but there has to be some kind of discharge of energy. And that's why it's not cognitive. It's not a cognitive therapy. We have to let our body do what it needed to do or what it didn't get to do. Like being able to scream, being able to fight back.
Yeah.
Or like if you childhood trauma, if you never had a voice, scream in your car. It helps.
It does, actually.
It does help. Yeah.
The lady the other day thought I was crazy because I started screaming in the car. I was just aggravated.
I'm not crazy. I'm healed.
I was stuck in traffic in New York City, and I got really agitated, and I just had to let it out.
It's better to get it out.
Yeah.
And especially when we're kids, to let it out with an accepting outlet. And that's why, like, with doing EMDR, to have an accepting outlet, to have a grounded therapist who can tolerate discomfort, right? That's like we were talking before about like some therapists who are very well-meaning but don't realize what they haven't healed yet. And they have difficulty, this positive psychology and like, oh, it's just gonna get better. No, it's you feel like shit right now, and I'm here for it. Let's throw shit.
Oh my God, I remember the time where I just snapped at you at one point. I think
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah. I think you were like, we were doing something. I think we were talking about 9/11.
Yeah.
And something like that.
Oh, when your protector part.
And my protector came out, and she said, "Go there." And I remember and you said, "What is this saying to you?" Like, or something. And literally, the person says, "Tell this bitch to back off."
Yes.
Like, you know, and I was just like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
But that, like, it was intense.
Yeah.
And I remember you just saying, like, okay, you don't have to like me.
It's
like, you know, but that was,
yeah.
You know.
Because I understood that part, right? And this is where we use, like, ego state work, we can call it IFS sometimes, is understanding that all parts serve a purpose in our system.
Yeah.
Our nervous. So that part, that was like, tell this bitch to back off, was saying, I don't trust you yet.
Right.
I don't know if you're able to handle what I'm trying to protect Frank from.
Right.
And we would say join the resistance with EMDR, know that part and honor that part for how it helped you survive up until this point.
Yeah.
So I let that part know, like, I hear you. I see that you're trying to help Frank. did you know that we're actually trying to do the same thing?
Right.
And align with it.
Yeah.
And then that part will give me permission to keep going, which it did.
It did, right?
It did.
Yeah. So again, EMDR is a process. It's not overnight. I think there's always that fear that people have, and I don't think a lot of people talk about it.
Mm-mm.
And I think because people think, oh, EMDR is for like, you know, soldiers or people who have suffered like massive traumatic events and so forth. But I think we all have trauma in our lives.
You said before, microaggressions.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really know how to process them. And I think if we do therapy and also open ourselves up to EMDR and go there, a lot of things will come up to the surface that, you know, you do EMDR, right? And a lot of things, your brain is reprogrammed and it's not like sort of triggering and that forth, but the work doesn't end.
Right.
The work continues, right?
Right.
You really have to have that support system.
Yes.
Because I remember having you for the EMDR, and then I had Dan, right? My therapist, right? We worked hand in hand because sometimes, like out of the EMDR sessions, right, things came up, but then I went to my therapist and we tried to work on that and tried to help with the anxiety, the skills, and like whatever to keep going and to move forward, right? It's important. Like
they all work together,
right?
100%, because I always think of EMDR as like a super therapy,
right?
Because it involves elements of CBT, DBT, psychodynamic, acceptance and commitment therapy. You know, you're studying counseling now, and you're probably seeing,
right,
all these different things. And so there are things like you know, grounding, meditation, DBT, like radical acceptance, those things, we call them phase 2 of EMDR.
Right.
Which is like, what's the preparation work we need, and before we start reprocessing, and to keep doing that during reprocessing.
Right.
Because you're going to feel like a live wire. So what distress tolerance skills are going to help you cope through it? The thing that makes EMDR so special is it speeds things up.
It does.
It does speed things up a lot. Because,
and it unlocks things.
Yes.
It unlocks things that are hidden.
Right. That you never thought.
That you suppressed for years. And they're like in there.
Absolutely.
And you don't really know that they're there because you suppressed them for so long.
What would you say to someone, because I get this question a lot, who is terrified of, they don't know what may come to the surface, and that's why they're so scared to start?
I honestly would tell them, don't be afraid. I think you really need to have that connection with the therapist, and you really need to feel safe.
So be scared, but be brave.
Be brave, right. Be brave, right? And your therapist, if they're really skilled and they really know how to do things correctly with EMDR, will help you, like, as you told me, like a valve.
Yeah.
It's like a valve, right? You release it a little and see how you're doing. And then you release it a little more.
Right.
And then you can close it or you can open it, right?
The goal is to not flood everything
exactly. But don't be afraid. Be brave.
Yeah.
Because honestly, don't face it. It's your body is going to make it. You're going to have to deal with it one way or another.
Absolutely.
Like me, I was suppressing it for so long that's why panic attacks, right? And
the body expresses what the mind represses.
Right. And people cope with it differently, right? I knew through therapy that, like, I was lucky that, you know, somebody told me about EMDR and going that way, but other people deal with it differently.
Right.
Right? Alcoholism, drugs.
You were reading my mind.
Right? Like alcoholism.
Support.
Right?
Yeah.
And they just go down other paths, right? To numb what they're feeling or try to find a solution to not address it because they're scared, right?
I don't have any tools or any people to help me hold space for what I'm feeling, so I'm going to numb it.
Right.
And when we look at it that way, that's when we can see addiction as, God, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If there's no help, no support, no connection
Right.
with others, and no tools, like nothing. I don't know what to do. So if our body doesn't know what to do, it starts to shut down. We call it the dorsal vagal response, right? And we can sometimes try to push our body into that response with substances, with behaviors. Like being a workaholic, or there's so many like skin picking things that I've seen, trichotillomania. Those are usually behaviors that are like the body's way of trying to deal with something because it doesn't have any other solutions that it's aware of,
Right.
or people to help it.
I think it's fear. I think
Absolutely.
it's fear. And I think that's where a lot of people, it's powerful. Fear is powerful, right? And it stops humans from doing things. People, right?
Fear will help you survive. It just doesn't help you thrive.
Exactly.
That's the
Well said. Very, very enlightening. You should phrase it.
Mhm.
Like trademark it.
One
or
of my
something.
good word liners. Yeah.
I know,
No
you
one
should-
steal it.
No,
Steal it all you want. If it helps you, I'm here for it. Yeah.
I'll take a commission.
My business manager, Frank, everybody. I love that. Yeah, but that's the difference with being in a survival state
Right.
and not being in one. Is survival state, that sympathetic nervous system, is because your body has perceived danger, fear. When we realize that the danger is no longer an imminent threat, we're not saying that to not be alert and aware, but the optimal level of arousal. We're not saying like, be completely blind, like walk around with blinders on. No, that optimal level of arousal, that I know I'm safe and I know I can keep myself safe based on my ability to be present and notice things.
I think like anxiety, right? Like a lot of people think, I don't want to feel anxiety. I don't want to do it. And I think I've said it multiple times in therapy. I just don't want it. Can I just shut it off?
I've heard clients in the past say they want to cut it out of them.
Right.
Just like we did with that protective part.
Mm-hmm.
No. That part of you helped you survive. That anxious part for you got you the hell out of Lower Manhattan.
Right.
When death was that close.
Yeah.
I love that part of you because it got you to me, and I love having you in my life.
Right. But again, it's telling that, like, EMDR helped me get to that protective part of me and saying, it's okay now. Like, you can take a break.
Right.
Right.
That protective part of you and that anxious part of you did not know. It wasn't time oriented. They didn't know it's, June 5th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
That's what PTSD is, a lack of time orientation. And when we struggle with these parts, it's because they still think that the danger is this close. And that's why they work so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they helped you survive and they don't realize that you survived.
Yeah, you survived, right?
Right.
But it's hard. But yeah.
It is hard. And
hard.
like I said to Philip last night, we were walking the dog and something's really hard. And I was like, yeah, when it's hard, that's what makes it like worth it. I said, no one ever enjoys anything when it's easy. We usually like get bored and we give up when things aren't challenging enough.
It's true.
And I started, then my brain went down like, League of Their Own. The hard is what makes it great.
Right?
Tom Hanks, like,
yeah.
It's nothing worth having was ever achieved without effort. And that's straight up Eleanor Roosevelt.
I agree. I think when you really struggle sometimes, it's
hard to see the light.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where therapy can help you see that, yes, it's hard now. It's not going to be hard forever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Anything else that you think people who are scared about trying EMDR and listen, EMDR is one trauma therapy approach. There's, as long as it's trauma informed.
Yeah.
It's, EMDR is what we know and what we love.
Right.
IFS is also amazing and a great therapy. But anything you would say to any individual who's just really scared to go there, whether it's with EMDR or another trauma-informed method?
First, be brave, like we said before.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be ready sometimes to deal with it.
Yeah.
And you have to have that connection. If you don't feel safe or you don't have a connection with the therapist that you're going to do this with, then I would take a step back a little and think about it, because I think especially when you're dealing with EMDR and you're dealing with specific traumas, you really have to have that connection. You really have to feel comfortable with that individual.
Because you have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because you don't know what's going to come up.
Exactly.
And how it's going to affect you.
Yeah. And you really have to feel that. And once you have that, I think the fear will subside.
Yeah.
And I think people will feel safe. But again, be brave.
Yeah.
You know, we have to face our fears. Like, you have to face your traumas.
Yeah.
Right?
Otherwise your past is going to continue to inform your present.
Again, trauma, if you look at it, trauma has a lot of negativity to it, right? But if you process it correctly,
right,
you learn from it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You become stronger. Yeah. You become stronger because eventually you start understanding, being like, oh, this is why, this is what, and that was wrong, or that was right, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just makes you a stronger individual.
Right.
Like the famous phrase, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Right?
With the right support.
With the right support, right?
Yep.
But it's always about having the right people.
Yeah. Support in and of itself is everything. Like, that's where also with EMDR, where a lot of times when we do that phase 2, the resourcing stuff, sometimes for clients, that is the work. Because they didn't have any internal resources or connections that they felt. So giving them that, like we do attachment resourcing, connecting to a nurturing figure, a wise figure. For some people, I've done work in the past where we did that and everything else resolved.
Right.
Because all of a sudden it's almost like a system, like you fix a fuse here, and then everything else works.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like taking the car out of neutral.
Yep.
And then it's put in drive and you drive off.
You're good.
You're like a mechanic.
Ring mechanic. Yay. Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, okay, you're ready to go.
Put the keys in the ignition.
Right.
That's me and you in the car going, let's go, bitches.
Let's go.
Oh, man. Well, I love you for sharing.
No, always here.
EMDR.
You know, I'm happy and I'm excited that people can hear this and see it, and hopefully it helps people.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
To help.
And I think it's important to let everybody know as well that you, come the end of August, will be working with clients.
I know. I'm
ready
excited.
To start your one-on-one work.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So I think that's important too.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to connect with Frank and feels that connection like we've been talking about, even just from this, you can reach out to us at peaceful-living-mental-health-counseling.com and we can set you up with a consult.
Yeah.
And you can heal with Frank.
You can heal with me. You can heal with Dana. You can heal with anybody in this practice.
We love being a safe place.
Yeah. It's all about being safe. And, you know, just reach out. We're here for you.
Yeah.